What is up? I'm Ryan Weisse, and this is Club Fantasy's Streams of the Week. It's week 13 in the NFL, and the fantasy playoffs are right around the corner. If you're still here with me, thank you. I think you already know what I do, but just a quick recap if someone's jumping in late in the season. I'm going to give you my top 5 plays at quarterback, tight end, and defense, all available in 50% or more leagues on Yahoo as of Wednesday. So these are streaming options that you should be able to go to your league's waivers and pick up right now. Before we jump into this week, let's talk a little bit about last week. As I mentioned before, weeks 10 and 11 were awful. We had a nice rebound in week 12. Taylor Heinicke did miss at quarterback, but he was our only quarterback that missed. We also only had one defense miss, but we only had one tight end hit. But thankfully, it was Pat Freiermuth, our stream of the week. So all in all, if you started my 3 guys, you got 33 fantasy points. My goal is always 30 to 35, so that fell right where we wanted to fall. But you know what? The games are way more important now. We need to do better, and I feel really good about the streams this week. So let's jump into it. We're going to start with quarterback. I always go from 5 to 1, 1 being my stream of the week. Number 5 is going to be Taysom Hill taking on the Dallas Cowboys. This is a Thursday night game. I got to be honest here. I'm a notorious Taysom Hill hater. Dallas is a great matchup. I understand that this could go either way. My gut tells me it's not going to be a great Taysom Hill week, but that's not what you want to hear in a stream of the week video. The thing is, we know what he can get done with his legs, and if you followed with me anytime this season, you know that rushing quarterbacks tend to do well in these streams of the week just because of the extra yardage they add to their game. So it's probably going to be a good Taysom Hill game. I just don't love it, which is why he's number 5. Number 4, way more confident, Jimmy Garoppolo taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Garoppolo didn't look great last week, but he's put together a solid season and didn't have a bad game against the Seahawks in a game that he got hurt on earlier in the season. The 49ers threw 3 passing touchdowns in that game. If those all go to Jimmy G, and I believe he was actually my stream of the week that week too, he was could be a monster in that game. Number 3 is going to be Tua Tagovailoa taking on the New York Giants. Tua looked great throwing to Jalen Waddle last week. The Giants, while they did play well against Jalen Hurts, they still give up a ton of points to fantasy quarterbacks. I expect a good week out of Tua. Number 2 is going to be Teddy Bridgewater taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to start by saying you have to monitor Bridgewater's health. He was hurt for a quarter last week and still scored 2 touchdowns in a game where he only played 75% of the game. He should play this game. It's a great matchup. Even if Kansas City defense shows up, and that's going to come up later, even if that defense shows up, there should be some good garbage time points for Teddy Bridgewater. They're not bringing Drew Lock into this game. And then number 1, I'm going to repeat. I told you guys I don't normally do this, but you know what? He missed last week. Pretty dull game against Seattle. I think Taylor Heinicke going up against the Las Vegas Raiders is going to have a big week this week. The Raiders give up a ton of points to fantasy quarterbacks. The Washington football team needs to win this football game, and I think this could be a high-scoring affair. I think it's going to be a great game for Heinicke to maybe get back on track with what he can do with his legs as well. We're going to jump over to tight end. Number 5 is going to be CJ Uzomah taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Uzomah has been hit or miss lately, but the volume tends to still be there. He just needs to find the end zone, and the Chargers are a team that will give up that touchdown. Number 4 is going to be Jack Doyle taking on the Houston Texans. Doyle was the number 1 fantasy tight end last week. Why isn't he higher on this list? He's hurt, and I think it was kind of fluky. You never know exactly which Colts tight end is going to be involved. However, Houston's a team that can be beat by just about anybody, and we know T.Y. Hilton's going to get it in. I look for Doyle to score another touchdown this week. Number 3 is going to be Jared Cook taking on Cincinnati. Cook is always going to be the 4th option in this offense, but the Bengals can be beat by tight ends. Obviously a theme when you're looking for streaming tight ends. Cook's out there in a ton of leagues, and again, what I think should be a high-scoring game. Number 2 is going to be my boy Tyler Conklin taking on the Detroit Lions, and this was almost my stream of the week. A couple of things I like about Conklin. His volume has dipped a little bit the last couple of weeks with Dalvin Cook unlikely to play this game and just not playing this game. I think we could see Conklin's usage in the red zone go up, thus improving his chances to score a touchdown. If the volume and the touchdown comes, he's going to be a smash play this week. But number 1, I had to go with Darren Waller's replacement, Foster Moreau. It looks like Waller's not going to play this game, and obviously if Waller plays, you want to pivot right to Tyler Conklin. They're taking on the Washington football team, who cannot stop the tight end. When Moreau filled in for Waller earlier this season, he went for 60 yards and a touchdown on, I believe, 6 receptions. It was a very good game for Foster Moreau, and I look for a repeat of that. Derek Carr's really going to lean on him. He likes to throw to his tight end. If Waller's out, it's going to go to Moreau. We're going to jump over to defenses. Number 5 is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Washington football team. And yes, I do have Taylor Heinicke as my stream of the week quarterback. Still like the Raiders. Heinicke does turn the ball over, threw another pick last week. Turnovers and sacks are what you're looking for. Both things can be true, and that's going to be a theme for a lot of the defenses this week. Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions. Putting it bluntly, especially if DeAndre Swift doesn't play, I don't like any bit of the Lions in this game. There could be some breakout performances for a guy like Josh Reynolds, but all in all, sacks, turnovers, probably a defensive touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings. Number 3 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Denver Broncos. As I mentioned, I do like Teddy Bridgewater, but I think we're going to see the same Chiefs show up that have played very well the last couple of weeks. If Bridgewater does well, it's going to be in garbage time, sacks, turnovers. I know I'm a broken record. Number 2 is going to be the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Giants. Miami's played very well lately. I don't think it's going to be a great game for Daniel Jones if he plays. If it's Mike Glennon, even better. And what weapons do the Giants have? You hope for a big game out of Kadarius Toney, but if Mike Glennon's throwing the ball, what hope do you really have? Dolphins should be a smash play this week, especially if it's Mike Glennon. And then number 1 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Jets. The Eagles have been hit or miss. They've had good games. They've had bad games, but they always play well against bad offenses. And you're not going to find a worse offense in the NFL than the New York Jets. What the hell was that pass that Zach Wilson threw last week, that shovel pass? If you haven't looked at it, don't even go look it up. It's ugly. I don't want to do that to you. So those are my guys this week. Top 5 at every position, but the number 1 guys, my streams of the week, are going to be Taylor Heineke going against the Raiders, Foster Moreau going against the Washington football team in that same game, and the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Jets. If you're wondering how I do with this, what I always do is I like to see the total scores of my streams of the week. So far, we've built the QB 14, the tight end 16, the defense 9. Not the best possible numbers, but remember, you didn't waste draft picks on these guys. These are guys that you're picking up for free, not on waivers, for free agents. Every week, it's a nice way to build a very strong top of your lineup and use these positions to fill in the rest where you're getting free assets, basically. And that's what you kind of want to do when you play this streaming game. I hope everything goes well for you guys this week. Please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a follower of Club Fantasy. We do giveaways every single time we hit a milestone. We give away jerseys. We give away helmets. You need to be entered for that next drawing by hitting the subscribe button. Check the links in the description. We got free money to give away over at Thrive Fantasy. Very cool things you can do over there with player prop betting. But most importantly, good luck this week, unless you're playing me.